Conspiracy spreader Alex Jones filed for personal bankruptcy today. The filing could potentially delay the nearly $1.5 billion two state courts have awarded families and others who sued Jones for defamation over his false claims about the Sandy Hook massacre, the victims, and their families. Later this month, it's going to mark 10 years since the mass shooting that killed 26 people, including 20 children. It's about how long these family members have been waiting to hold Mr. Jones to account. Within hours of the attack, Jones was spinning lies about the shooting being a false flag event. He'd eventually attack families and others as crisis actors, ridiculing them, lying about them. In October, after the billion-dollar verdict in Connecticut was announced, I spoke with some Sandy Hook parents and Erica Lafferty, the daughter of Principal Dawn Hawksprung, who was murdered, who told us that these verdicts were important because they send a strong message, not just to Jones, but, quote, for anyone who has a sick aspiration to be like him. I'm joined now by the New York Times' Elizabeth Williamson, who's reported extensively on the tragedy and its aftermath and the lawsuits. Her book, Sandy Hook, An American Tragedy and the Battle for Truth, is extraordinary. Also joining us is CNN senior legal analyst Elie Honig, former assistant U.S. attorney. So, Elizabeth, I know you've looked through Jones's bankruptcy filing. What stood out to you?
So what he said in his assets section of today's filing, Anderson, will surely be challenged by the families. He said he has assets of between $1 and $10 million. The families maintain that he has much more than that, and in fact that he has siphoned $60 million out of the business, possibly into the coffers of family and himself. So that's what they allege. They will definitely be questioning what the filing was today and trying to find that money.
I mean, Elie, does filing for bankruptcy, can he hide all these assets?
Well, he's certainly trying, but I don't think it's going to succeed. It might even backfire, Anderson. Here's why. A person cannot just declare bankruptcy and then sort of have all of his debts miraculously vanish. Yes, bankruptcy can discharge, essentially get rid of certain types of debts, but not these debts. Not when you're talking about a judgment. We got the trial verdicts here. That involves an intentional wrong. And here we're talking about defamation. That's what Alex Jones was found liable for. That is intentional. And so the families, what this does, though, is it complicates the task for them. Now they have to basically get online with other creditors, other people who are owed money. And what Alex Jones is trying to do, and I think Elizabeth's reporting exposes this really nicely, is sort of shrink the amount of money that's available to them. He's taking money, he's moving it all over. He's trying to create these ridiculous debts that Elizabeth reports on, where he essentially owes himself and his parents $50 million in order to sort of jump that line ahead of the parents. But what I think this is going to result in is the parents and their lawyers now have every incentive to track down this money and to make sure he pays them.
During the first defamation trial, Elizabeth, in Texas, there was a forensic economist who testified that Jones had moved around a lot of his money. I mean, how much do you know about that? How much had their lawyers learned about that?
Well, as Elie said, that, he has claimed that he is indebted to the tune of $54 million to an LLC, a limited liability company, that is controlled by himself and his parents. So in a way, it's a kind of shell game. He is worth between $130 and $270 million, according to that forensic economist.
Wow. Wait, Alex Jones is worth what? 200 and what?
Between $130 and $270 million.
Wow.
So for him to say he has assets of between $1 and $10 million is just something that will be absolutely challenged by the families and their lawyers. And he earns revenues of up to $70 million a year. So it's a lot of money that we're talking about here, and he's trying to make it, as Elie said, look like a little bit. The families challenge even the notion that he is bankrupt because of these debts to essentially himself and the money that he has been moving out of the company into things like real estate and related ventures and things that the families and really nobody at this moment fully understand.
I mean, Elie, it's extraordinary that this guy who plays this tough guy on his, broadcasts and acts like, he's this, big tough guy with these security guards who are all dressed identically, and I guess they planned their wardrobes the night before, is hiding behind his parents. Yeah. I mean, he's hiding behind, that he's loaned money to his parents or owes money to them.
It's preposterous. It certainly doesn't measure up with the bombast and the nonsense that Alex Jones is known for. And what this does it motivates. It should motivate the parents to track that their lawyers and
How
investigators.
do they track down? I mean, it costs a lot of money to track down money.
It does, and that's why you hire lawyers. It's costly, and investigators to try to find this money. You know, bankruptcy is sort of a double-edged sword because on the one hand, it can protect you in some instances from certain debts, but it also exposes you to real scrutiny. There will be a judge involved in this case. There might be a trustee involved in this case. If this gets into actual bankruptcy proceedings, the parents will have the opportunity through their lawyers to question Alex Jones. He has to answer these questions under oath. And here's the thing. If he lies, if he commits fraud, prosecutors can get involved. The Department of Justice has prosecutors who specialize in bankruptcy fraud. And that's why long-term this could be dangerous for Alex Jones.
Elizabeth, I'm wondering, I mean, almost 10 years since Sandy Hook, I'm wondering what your thoughts are, especially as these parents, you know, have been on this nightmare quest for truth while they are grieving.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as I've said, you know, with you previously, Anderson, this is a significant secondary trauma that they've suffered. For 4 years, they have been fighting with Alex Jones, but for years before that, they have been trying to back against people who not only against the worst day of their lives, but people who deny that it actually happened. So this has taught them nothing if not patience and fortitude. And I think that's what we're going to see as they go forward. And they use and hope that the bankruptcy courts do their jobs in shedding light, using this filing today and the previous filings for Jones's company to try and expose, you know, where these assets are, what they actually are, and to point out, as Ellie says, you know, where he is gaming the system.
Elizabeth Williamson, thank you. Ellie Honig, thanks so much.